Welcome back, folks, to our Hour of Devastation full set review. We're going to go through all the multicolour cards, lands, and artifacts in this one, so a little bit longer. And to get through, I've got Anthony on the line again. How are you, Anthony?
Yeah, good, Brett. How you doing?
Pretty good, ready to talk some magic. I thought we'd have some fun. These are some of the most powerful cards in the set.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Let's see what all the color combinations can do.
Alright. Well, let's start off with something, one of the uncommons. So this is our red-blue uncommon, Bloodwater Entity. So this is a 2-2 with flying, so a Windrake. It has prowess, and when it enters the battlefield, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. So red-blue sort of continuing its Spell Weaver type thing.
Yeah, I love this card. This is really, really good. Like you're just putting a removal spell back on top of your deck. 2/2 for 3 is fine, but prowess makes it really good. And yeah, this card's awesome.
Sure. So I mean, if you don't get that last ability, this is still a fine sort of playable card.
Yeah, but I'm going to try and hold on to it. I'll play my other threes before I play this one.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we need to sort of evaluate these in a couple of ways. Is this a card that you want to be picking early and it draws you into this combination, or do you want to be red-blue and you're going to take this later on when you're already in that set?
Hard to say. I think it's definitely a powerful card in red blue, but yeah, it's not really something that will push me into it. I'll be looking for it as a signal though. If I see this like fourth or fifth pick, I'll be looking to move in.
Alright, yeah, I feel like this is one I want to get a little bit later, probably even down to the 6th or the 7th, just to know that I'm in red-blue. I don't know if this is something that I'm just going to play most of the time.
Okay.
But yeah, not too bad, a reasonable card. Let's go to something a bit bigger, still red and blue. Tell me about the Locust God.
This is the one. This is the good one. 4 blue and red for a 4/4 legendary creature god with flying. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. 2 blue and red to draw a card and then discard a card, so to loot. And then when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, this card.
There's so much to unpack there. I guess the first thing to say is that last paragraph there, the last couple of sentences, that's the god text, I guess, for these three new gods, or old gods, I guess they are the old gods. So if they were to die, they come back at the beginning of the next end step. That's going to be consistent for all of them. That doesn't count if they get countered, it doesn't count if they get exiled, and it doesn't happen if they get removed from the graveyard before the next end step.
Okay.
And that'll be the same for all of them.
Okay.
But the Locust God, like, this is just a bomb first pick, right?
Oh yeah, I'm going into blue red for this one.
Yeah,
this card's insane.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a 1/1 every turn at least, and then you can loot to get more. You know, your pull from eternities just give you, pull from tomorrow, sorry, give you additional 1/1s. This is a great card.
Yeah, and it's one of those cards that's just inevitability. You just need to stay alive, and this will win you the game.
Yeah, definitely. So standard, this is looking like a pretty solid control finisher.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this card. If I play standard, because I might be at nationals, this is the kind of card I'm looking for as my finisher, and I'll be playing some sort of blue, red, maybe green control deck.
All right. Yeah, I definitely like that idea. I'm looking to do a bit of blue-red, maybe Grixis control, so this looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Commander is going to be really all over this as well. There's already some blue-red wheel decks. Nekusar,
Oh.
this goes straight into a Nekusar type build where you're just wheeling and then making a bunch of dudes, so
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
yeah, fun all round for the Locust God.
Yeah.
So,
Just gets better.
Just gets better. So this is another Grixis control finisher. Nicol Bolas the God Pharaoh.
He's
the hour is
back!
yes, the hour is upon us. The Bolas is returning. So this is a Planeswalker, obviously a Bolas Planeswalker. Starts at 7 loyalty for your 7 mana, so that's a pretty good starting point. Has 4 abilities, so it's got the Mind Sculptor effect. Target opponent exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. So you just... That's pretty sweet. You flip the top of your opponent's library and find something good. Also of note, that's 9 loyalty after 1 uptick.
It's insane. Yeah.
Next, that's good. Like we're pretty much happy now. But we'll keep going anyway. Each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. So again, commander or 2 HG players. That's 2 cards each player, each opponent.
And that's ticking up.
That's still ticking up. Absolutely. So yeah,
God.
we're up to 8 loyalty on that one.
Yeah.
We can neg 4, so he can come down and neg 4, and it allows him to deal 7 damage to target opponent or a creature an opponent controls. So if you have to kill something, it's just kill it for 7 damage. Or you can just throw that at your opponent's face if that kills them.
That kills planeswalkers as well.
It can kill planeswalkers
Or
as
mostly.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the ultimate, the big bad, is neg 12. So for those keeping track, you need to tick up 3 times to get there. But after that, your 4th tick down is exile all non-land permanents your opponents control.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's just does everything. It slices, it dices, it just wrecks everything.
Yeah, this card's insane. Maybe I will play Grixis. This card is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, limited. You splash for this. You make this your number 1 priority if you open this, because this will win the game. It's an absolute bomb.
Yeah, take it and try to do it.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about Standing, because I like the idea of Grixis control, and I've been trying to play that deck, but I don't know if it's going to exist in the current meta. We have a lot of tools available, so it's going to be dependent on whether or not it gets there.
I think it's just how much you want it. I'm going to be playing it.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to be playing it. Whether or not I 3-0 every week, that's another thing. But I'm going to be playing it, trying to make it work, and I'll just keep tinkering until I find something that works for me. This card's insane.
The Nicol Bolas doesn't work particularly well with Tinker because he's not an artifact, but
that's all right. We'll make it work.
All right, so absolute super hyper bomb, loving it for standard, love it for commander. Just it's a beautiful card. So looking forward to seeing this in my hand often.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy to see Nicol Bolas back. That's awesome. Yeah. So happy.
All right, so let's move on. It's probably something less exciting. Is the Obelisk Spider?
I don't know. Limited, this card's pretty good. 1 black and green for a 1/4 spider with reach. And when it deals combat damage to a creature, you put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. And then whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it has Wither, and every time a counter goes on a creature, you drain them for 1. This card's really good.
Oh yeah, it's very sweet and a great payoff for the green-black counters deck, and a good reason to push into the green-black counters deck. I would point out, for technical reasons, this is not the same as Wither, because Wither replaced the damage, so instead of dealing damage, it would put a counter on. This does damage and puts a counter on, so it can actually take down a 2/2 in 1 hit.
Oh, sick! Yeah, that's way better. This card's awesome. 3 mana for effectively a 2/4.
Yeah. So it's a really, really cool card, the Obelisk Spider. And yeah, you just when 1 or more counters, all of the black removal pretty much is in counter form, other than final reward. So yeah, this is a sweet thing.
Yeah, this card's really good. This is going to push me into black green for sure. I'm going to take this early.
Yeah, loving that card. I guess it's a gold card still, so you're probably still picking single color removal and that sort of thing over it, but after that...
Yeah, it's got to be like premium to go over this, I reckon. I'm going to try and push for it. If I have a black card, I'm taking this over just about any black card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, sweet cards all around. This is why I love doing gold cards, because they're always so powerful. They're always risky, but powerful.
Yeah.
Alright, the next up is our Resolute Survivors. This is 1 red-white. The red-white uncommon. So far they've all been 3 mana, which is interesting. You may exert this as it attacks, and if you exert a creature, Resolute Survivors deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So 3 mana 3/3, awesome. It's in red-white, exerting, so that's a sweet aggressive deck.
Yeah.
And it deals 1 damage to each opponent, which doubles up in Two-Headed Giant. So this is going to be a sweet card for that sealed format.
Yeah, and off any exert creature, not just itself.
Yeah.
this card's bonkers too. Like, these are all really good, all of these gold cards.
I mean, this is kind of a Hellrider type effect for all exert creatures. And Hellrider was a bomb, so...
Yeah, it's not Hellrider, but
Well, it's not
it's
quite
it's pretty
you have
damn
to exert
good.
for it.
Yeah, yeah, this card's really, really good. I don't think like this on. I do like it on raw power level, but I definitely have to be both red and white to want this card.
Yeah, that color combination and being an aggressive deck, you can't afford any sort of splashes, you can't afford to have any dodgy sort of mana, so this is, you are in exactly red and white, and you have exert creatures and you're being aggressive, so... This is not the one you pick early and then make the deck, this is, you've got a deck and it goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, more sweet cards. Alright, so let's continue on from our survivors. It's a HOU.
This card's awesome. Blue and a green for a 1/3 bird with flying, of course, and 3 blue-green. You gain 2 life and draw a card. This card's awesome.
Yeah, this looks. When I see this card, I'm just like, this is everything Anthony wants in life, right?
Pretty much, like a cheap blocker. It's blue and green, and you gain life and draw cards at the end of the game. How can you lose?
How does it lose? Yeah, sweet card, and apparently the River Hoopoe is an actual thing.
Yeah,
It's a real bird. Yeah, apparently it's not quite as colourful as that. It's black and white, but apparently it's a real bird. So they didn't just make that one up.
well, I prefer the colourful one. And I would splash this in like a green white deck or something like that, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean,
for that blue ability.
You only need to activate it once, and because it's still relevant late in the game, I think it's certainly worth a splash.
Yep.
I'm going to see that it's not too difficult to splash if you want to. So.
Yeah, I mean, 5 mana is a lot to do, you know, just to draw a card, but
It's
yeah,
repeatable.
it's a mana sink, and yeah, the card's just sweet.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, Samut.
What happened to you? She was so good, and now she's...
Yes.
Well, she's okay.
She was tested, and she failed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, let's go through it.
Let's talk.
2 red green for a 4 mana planeswalker. +1 ability is to up to 1 target creature gains double strike until end of turn. That's okay. -2, Samut the Tested deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players, which is okay. And -7, the ultimate. Search your library for up to 2 creature and or planeswalker cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Alright, so, I mean, in Limited, you're still playing this. Sure. Are we still playing this? Is this better than Nissa?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're gonna play it. It's gonna kill some small things, I guess. And when you're beating down with it, it's gonna feel busted. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't do any of the things that Planeswalkers are required to do, right? The main Planeswalker tests, for those who maybe a bit newer, are like, it needs to protect itself. And this one just doesn't. It doesn't untap a creature to defend itself. The damage is not enough. 2 damage is not enough to defend itself on turn 4. It's going to die. It doesn't replace itself. It doesn't give you any card advantage. You know, giving a creature double strike doesn't really help very much. It's only until end of turn, so you can't even leave it up to block with that double strike ability. The ultimate is cool and then flashy and will probably win you the game by putting your 2 best creatures into play or something like that. But you're never going to get there, because this Samut, unless you're ahead on board already, doesn't do what Planeswalkers need to do.
Yeah, they found a way in the last couple of sets to make Planeswalkers not that great in Limited. I wasn't impressed with Gideon or Nissa in the last format. They just weren't the type of game-warping sort of cards. Liliana was still insane, but the other 2 I wasn't that impressed with, and this is along the same lines. I'm going to pick it reasonably highly, because it is a Planeswalker, and it just has that effect to warp the game around killing it. So it can just do some things and be good enough, better than your like 23rd card.
Yeah.
But you're just not as excited to put this in your deck.
Certainly, and I mean, to be fair, you can't ignore this. If it's appearing on the other side of the table, you do need to kill it, because that double strike damage is going to add up, or being able to fork bolt some things is going to be inconvenient. But it's not something that when it comes down, you look at it and go, I have to kill that or I'm going to lose really soon.
Yeah.
It's no Nicol Bolas, it's or Liliana, where it's just getting constant value.
Yeah, not Nicol Bolas at all. Yeah.
Alright, sorry, Samet.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Of note, it is amazing with doubling season. Most planeswalkers are, but
Yeah.
it comes down, it ultimates immediately, and fetches 2 other planeswalkers, which also then probably ultimate immediately.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So have fun with that, Commander players.
Yeah.
Alright. The Scarab God.
I'll let you take this one.
Alright, I love the Scarab God. It's 3 blue-black for a legendary creature god. It has the god text, as we mentioned before. It's a 5/5. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. You can also pay 4 mana, 2 blue-black, to eternalize any creature from a graveyard. Just target a creature, and you get an eternal of it. And this is just so sweet. I'm going to start with Commander and that sort of thing, where this is going to be the most fun, because this is probably the best zombie Commander there is, even though it's not a zombie itself. Better than
awesome.
Gisser and Giralf, better than Grimgrin. It's just doing so much work. Each opponent losing life, you're scrying. It's going to be huge, particularly if you follow this up with, like, Army of the Damned, and you have 13 zombies.
Ooh.
Bringing it back,
Yep.
I mean, you can certainly see this. In Limited, this is still going to be really sweet. There are plenty of black zombies and blue zombies, and even if you splash for this as a blue card in your black-white zombie deck, I think this is a great way to end the game. So.
Oh yeah, that second ability is insane. Like, ignore all the first ability, but that second ability, just to reanimate or whatever a creature every turn, eternalize a creature every turn. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, if you untap with this thing, it's going to be ending the game fairly quickly, because you just have constant value. It's a huge card advantage.
Yeah, massive. Card's ridiculous.
So, amazing Scarab God, just play it as much as you possibly can if you open that thing.
Yep, splash it, play it, just get it in your hand and play it.
Super fun. Alright, so let's move it on with the Scorpion God. How about this guy?
It's probably the least impressive of the gods. 3 black red for a 6/5 god. Whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, draw a card. And you can pay 1 black red to put a -1/-1 counter on another target creature. And it's got the god text as well, so it comes back after it dies. Okay, so even though I think it's the weakest of the 3, it's still incredibly good in Limited. And you play it and splash it, the card's ridiculous.
Oh, for sure. The all 3 gods are just amazing Limited bombs, and you should always take them and play them. If you're even in one of the colors a little bit, just go for it.
Yeah.
But all I want to do with this is Black Sun Zenith. It's my favorite thing in the world. Just wipe the board, draw all of the cards.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty gross, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's, again, a lot of fun, and I don't think we need to spend a lot of time discussing the Scorpion God, other than he's awesome. So.
Yeah, play him and then just kill your opponent's board over 3 or 4 turns and then win the game.
He is probably the scariest god with regards to the story. We've been keeping up with that.
Yes, he's had some, yeah.
I mean, you just can't kill him. Ronus couldn't kill him. Every time they think he's down, he just gets up and wrecks you.
Yeah, that card, he's where he's killing Ronus. It's actually in the picture. That's kind of dark.
Yeah. So, scary card, certainly in Limited and in the story. So, let's see.
Yeah. And all of the gods are invocations, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah. Similar to last time, I think they'll have invocation versions. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Alright, so next we have the Unraveling Mummy. This is 1 black-white for a zombie. It's a 2/3, so a bit lower on the stats, but it gives 1 and a white to make an attacking zombie gains lifelink, or 1 and a black to give an attacking zombie death touch. And then
Oh my god.
2 white-black to give your attacking zombie lifelink and death touch.
This card Oh, I hate this card. Yeah, this card is so good. Um,
You
oh, it's
reckon?
hard to play around this. Yeah.
I'm
How do
not
you
as high on it.
really? You just throw your zombies in there. They block. You trade them off. They don't block. You just gain all that life, and then they can't race you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just compared to some of the other gold cards we've seen so far, I think this is a little bit weaker. It has to be an attacking zombie, so you do need to be able to be aggressive. You need to stay back and block. You can't.
I suppose. But you just race them then, don't you? And just lifelink and win the game.
If you can race, maybe. If they've got a scaled behemoth, you can't really race that.
But then they're not attacking you.
Sure they are. Why wouldn't they? You can't block with Death Touch.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if they attack you, you attack back and give two of your guys lifelink, you're winning the race.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I guess I'm just not seeing this being as powerful as some of the others that we've had so far.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm like, and similarly, this I think I need to be in a black-white zombie deck. I'm not taking this and then trying to make that happen.
Yeah,
Are
but
you the other way around?
no, I will see it as a signal a bit like the others. I'll see it as a signal around like pick 4 and 5. If this is there, I'm taking it and gonna seriously consider moving in.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's just threat of activation as well. Like you throw your 2/2 and they've got their 3/3. Do they block it? No. Then it's just free damage.
Yeah, I can certainly see that, and I know it's going to be annoying to play around, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait a little bit on that one, but yeah, we'll see how your zombie decks work out.
Okay.
All right, everyone, get ready for the awkward cards.
Ah,
Alright, so we're going to go through the Aftermath cards next, and I guess just before we get started, we'll say we're going to evaluate these most likely in two ways. Firstly, is the front half just worth playing as a card, and ignore sort of the Aftermath, and then do you need both halves in order to play this? And Farm to Market, I would say, is perfectly fine if you're in a mono white deck. So this is 2 and a white for an instant, destroy target attacking or blocking creature is Farm, and then Market says... Aftermath, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So that's a Faithless Looting for 2 and a blue.
that's really good. The first part's really, really good, and the second part is just awesome gravy.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, Farm, as I said, just you play that. Destroy an attacking or blocking creature is perfectly fine for 3 mana.
Yep. This card's awesome.
Yeah, sweet. First pick? You going like top 3, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, attacking or blocking still kind of sucks, but it's better than Sandblast, so that's a high bar.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll probably take it really high. Yep.
Yeah, sweet card. All right. Obviously, if you're in white and blue, then this is a really sweet card to be picking up quite early.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, how about this gun?
I like this one more. Consign to Oblivion. So the first half is Consign. Instant, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
Cool.
So I like that. And Oblivion Sorcery, target opponent discards 2 cards. So they have 1 card in hand, you bounce their bomb, and then make them discard. Sick!
Yeah, and just make sure you pull up your shawl on that journey to Magical Christmas Land.
No, this will come up more than you think.
That's a pretty perfect situation.
No, you just do it end of turn.
Oh, no,
You do the consign end of turn. Oh no, this will happen. You've got to be aware of this. This is a really good card.
I think it's good, and the top half is basically Winds of Rebuke from Armenket, which was good, a fine card, particularly when you've got Eternalize and you've got Embalm. So that unsummon effect is good. That's an expensive mind rot though, like 5 mana to discard 2 cards.
Yeah, but I mean, your opponent, what are they going to do? Like, I mean, usually people keep 1 card in hand to protect from. I don't know why, but some people just keep a land in hand or something. And this sort of, I know I'm just stating the obvious here, but I'm telling you, this card is better than it looks.
I think it looks fine, and I'm just not super high on it. How high are you picking this? How deep are you going? Like you just when you take that card.
If I'm in blue, probably like 3 to 4. I'd pick it over the multicolored uncommons.
Okay, so you obviously need to be in blue to use the front half.
Yeah.
Do you need to be blue black? Is this okay
Uh,
in blue mono and just
this
great
is
in blue black?
this is fine in blue mono, but it's excellent in blue black, and I'd consider splashing the black.
Yep. Yeah, I can certainly see that, and the more I look at it, that I can certainly see the situations where you're going to get people in that. So
You will
it's
get
good.
people, and it will feel real good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And
You are taking a full turn off, but it's a removal spell basically. You bounce something and get rid of it.
but if you take the best thing off their board and then get them down to 0 cards in hand, I'm willing to take a turn for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess going back around to you mentioned that people keep cards in hand and that sort of thing. I'm always a little bit dismayed when I see people keeping multiple lands. I can understand keeping one to bluff a little bit that you've got stuff, but you should usually play out if you've got 2 or 3 lands in hand. You should start to put at least most of them down. If
Yeah.
your opponent is playing this, you maybe revise that. I could imagine if I get blown out by this in game 1, I'll probably keep up my extra lands the next time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to consider. But the other thing, if you've got, and this is just a general rule that I have, if I've got draw spells in my deck, I'm just playing all my lands, even if I go down to 0. Because I want enough mana to cast my draw spell, and then if I draw a land off that draw spell and I need to play it to cast my next spell, then it's not worth the bluff, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. You should always give yourself the most options to have out. So if you are playing draw spells, exactly the same. Just put the lands in play.
Yep.
All right. Next one is a Claim to Fame. So Claim is return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from graveyard to the battlefield. So that's pretty sweet. And Fame is target creature gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. So together, for 3 mana, you bring something back, buff it, and swing in with it. So red-black, I think this is awesome. It's a great card to be playing.
You reckon?
And this is the kind of thing that red-black wants to do. You trade for a while, and then just out of nowhere, you bring something back and get them.
Yeah. I can see the value in that. You'd want a fair amount of 2-drops to be doing this, like good ones.
Like Nefcrop Entangler?
Yeah, if I had like 3 of them, I'd just slam this in.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen a little bit of red, and we've seen a bit of white, and how many of their 2-drops are aggressive, and there are a lot of theirs. So, I mean, this is getting in for 4 or 5 damage.
Yeah, it doesn't sack at the end of turn or anything, so it stays around, so that's really good. And the other thing is, you can play the Fame part later. You don't have to do it that turn, so you can just save it for a big swing later in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is a good card in black and red. I don't think I want to play this for the front half, though. I'm probably not playing just Claim unless there are some really important 2-drops that I've got.
Yeah, this is one of those cards that you're going to be getting on the wheel. You're going to be getting it late, and it's in a really niche deck, I think.
Yeah, possibly if I have a bunch of those Death Touch rats and I want to trade a lot, that might come in. But yeah, it's certainly not something you need to pick early.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, so next split card.
Ooh, Struggle to Survive. So Struggle is 2 and a red for an instant. It deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. That's really good. And Aftermath is each player shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library. So nobody cares about that. Just play this in all your red decks because that card's pretty good.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Like, Survive is just blank text most of the time. It's just kill stuff with Struggle.
Yeah, and that's really good.
If you are in green and you have the option to survive against the Eternalized deck, then maybe, sure. But I think this is more of a standard plant in case those graveyard decks were getting out of control.
Yeah, if your opponent, plays the blue-black god, yeah, go and survive.
Yeah. I mean, you're already going to be struggling to survive with that blue-black god, so this is probably not going to help enough.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. You can struggle it, and then when it goes to the graveyard, survive it. There you go. That's how you beat the gods.
There we go. This is the anti-god card.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We figured it out.
Good job. Okay, let's appeal to authority. So, appeal is green for a sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature gets trample and X plus X plus X, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay, sure, give it a buff and trample. And authority taps up to 2 target creatures your opponents control, and creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. So make a giant dude and smack in with it. Then maybe tap some dudes to make it easier to get through, and your creatures get in safely. This is very good in green-white. I'm pretty happy to see that in green-white.
Yeah, this card's nutty in green-white. I probably wouldn't want it anywhere else. But when this card gets played, you're in a world of pain.
Yeah. I mean, you can hypothetically see appeal being pretty good just as a spell. But when you think about the kind of deck that's going into, you're going wide, you need a lot of creatures, maybe some tokens. That's just green-white, so that's where it's going to end up almost every time.
Yeah, for sure. The problem with with just the green is that it's a sorcery, and then they can just load up on the blocks and stuff like that. So that's something to think about. It's not very good in just green.
Yeah, and I love the vigilance in green-white because they do have quite a lot of exert, and this is where you're going to get to just swing in, exert all of your guys basically for free.
Yeah. This reminds me of the white trial, and it will be, I reckon it'll be as good, maybe even better, but because it's in green and white, it's just not going to be as overall powerful.
Yeah, so when you can do both, it's probably as good as the white trial. So.
Yeah.
Alright, awesome, great card.
Next one is Leave to Chance. So 1 and a white for an instant. Return any number of target permanents you own to your hand and chance. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. It's an interesting card.
It's very interesting, very strange. When are we playing this?
When you flood out in a red-white deck? I don't know.
Yeah. So you've just played out your new 7th land, and your curve is at 4. So you just pick up some lands and pitch them, draw some cards.
Yeah, pick up all 7 lands, just float the mana, then discard them and draw 7 new cards.
I'm more imagining you end step leave, and then you main phase chance on the following turn. So you don't have to spend the mana as much.
Yeah, that's probably right. I don't know. I thought this was a bit better than I initially thought, because I thought it was return any number of target permanents from your graveyard to your hand. So I thought this was like kind of
ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of busted when I first saw it. So I don't really like this card at all.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, if I'm in red-white, I'm probably going to run one of these, but I'm not picking it up until on the wheel.
Yeah, and even then, it's sort of iffy whether it makes it or not.
Alright, yeah, so I'm not real keen on Leave to Chance, but as I said, I will put it into decks most of the time. If I'm in red and white, just because it gets you through that late game when usually you're losing.
Yeah. I love the artwork on this, by the way. The leave part, it's beautiful, but Chance, it looks like it didn't work out very well, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Unless that's gold coming out of them somehow. I can't imagine it is, but I don't know what that is coming out of the dude.
Some win, some lose.
I'm wondering if maybe this is something that might fit into some kind of a storm deck, because Paradoxical Outcomes, something from Kaladesh, got sort of into that. Now that's a blue-black deck at heart, so being a red-white is really weird for that, but I don't know. Maybe there's something there where returning permanence is a big deal for them.
Okay. I don't know.
I'll have to wait and see on that one. Just thought I'd put that out there just in case that becomes a deck. I can say I told you.
Okay, cool.
Alright, we need a reason to believe.
Oh, the blue-green card that I don't actually like. Reason, 1 blue to scry 3, and believe 4 and a green aftermath. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it onto the battlefield if it's a creature card. If you don't, put it into your hand. I don't like this.
Well, other than the opportunity to sing Hoobastank at my pre-releases, singing The Reason, there's not much else.
Okay, sure.
I
I
don't know.
want,
It seems alright. Like, Reason, Scry 3, that's almost draw a card.
but it's not.
And Believe, like, if it's just, it looks like it could be amazing. You set it up, and then you just jam your biggest creature into play for 5 mana.
6 mana.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
6 if you're on the same turn, but yeah.
yeah. Okay, you can set it up. Yeah. Um, maybe if Reason was an instant, would that be too good? It could. It wouldn't be, right? You
It
don't
would
get the card
probably
back.
be too good.
Really? Okay. All right.
I mean,
I don't know what I'm missing here. This might be better than I think.
you're getting. I know that Serum Visions and Ponder and that sort of thing fully replace themselves, but Scry 3 is a lot. So I know why they've made it a sorcery, and I know why it's sort of not any more powerful than it is, because it's pushing the boundaries as far as it's getting close to those cantrips which are banned in Modern.
Okay. Would Ponder be a rare now?
Probably. Well, this is 2 cards. This is
Yeah,
because
I
it's
know,
Reason to Believe, but Reason would be an uncommon easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to see many of those effects. Scry 3 is reasonably powerful, being able to set up your next few draws for 1 mana.
All right. Okay. I don't. I still don't like
You don't
this.
like it?
I'll probably. I swear I'll end up playing this card, but I don't really like it.
I'm gonna play it, and I would play it in blue decks. To be honest, I will. Even if I can't Believe, I would play Reason.
Okay. You'd splash the Believe there, wouldn't you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty happy with the first half.
Okay. Cool.
I also really want to play this with Commit to Memory.
Okay.
So I can just take, if my best dude is about to die, I just like put him 2 cards down, draw a card, and then cast Believe. Get it back.
Sure. Yep.
Yay! That's Magical Christmas Land, though.
There you go. Yep.
We got there.
All right. Grind to Dust. 1 and a black for Grind. It's a sorcery. Put a -1/-1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And Dust is exile any number of target creatures that have -1/-1 counters on them. So 6 mana, exile 2 creatures. This card's bonkers. Potentially more.
Yeah, at the base level, this is going to be get rid of 2 creatures. But if you're in black and you'd be in other counters across the board, you could be potentially wiping out half your opponent's board, if not more.
Yeah, and if your opponent's just putting counters on their own things.
Yeah, this is a scary card, and this is first pick, I would say, for me.
Yeah.
You splash the white if you can't play it as a main color. Like, this is a premium removal spell.
Yep. Very, very good. I'll be taking this first pick and splashing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. Very scary card. And again, really want to play this with Black Sun Zenith. Because I'll just Black Suns for 1 and then dust everything else.
That's just greedy then, aren't you?
Yeah. Why isn't Black Suns an invocation? If it was, I'd be so stoked. I could do all these cool combos.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Alright. Refuse to Cooperate. This is 4 mana for an instant, 3 in a red. Refuse deals damage to target spell's controller equal to that spell's converted mana cost. And for 3 more mana, 2 and a blue, you get another instant. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So if your opponent's doing something cool, punch them for it, and then do the same thing.
Yes, for 7 mana.
For 7 mana, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a good card, is it? For limited, this is not a good card.
Yeah. Copy spells I've never been a big fan of in limited, and the damage thing is only going to the face, right? Yeah. No, I don't like this card.
Yeah, no, it's just a pure damage spell. It's probably not going to be dealing more than 4 or 5 damage, so you're not really bothered about playing a Lava Axe. And the second half is blank a lot of the time.
Yeah. Don't take this card. Don't play this card. Yeah, don't like it.
I'm just trying to think, is it worth it in any way? Like, cooperate, you're copying your opponent's removal spell, copying your own removal spells.
But you got to do the first half of it first, which
Yeah.
seems so bad.
You can kind of throw that away anywhere. Throw it on a 3 damage or 4 damage spell, but no, I think it's just too awkward.
Yeah.
There's too many hoops to jump through.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where it can be good if you sort of line it up well, but it's too hard to be consistently good. It's gonna be actively bad a lot of the time. So yeah,
I think even in the blue-red spells deck, this is just not going to be enough.
no.
All right, let's move on. Last split card, and it's an absolute bomb.
Yeah, this card's sick. Driven to Despair. So Driven is 1 and a green for a sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And the aftermath Despair is until end of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card.
Yeah. So if you get bitten by a snake, go to the hospital, because that's what happens to your arm.
Yeah, Despair. This card's ridiculous. You're going to draw a bunch of cards. Your opponent's going to discard a bunch of cards, and it's cheap and it replaces itself. And your opponent, this card does a lot of stuff and really, really well.
Yeah, no, it's really powerful. The menace is really important because it's going to help you get through. The only issue is it's terrible when you're behind if you don't have a decent board presence, because you need creatures and you need multiple creatures to make this good. Like, one creature is not going to be enough, even one big creature.
2 creatures?
2 sizable creatures. I mean, you're going to be talking about like 4 drops, 4 power, something like that, because you don't want them to be able to block easily.
I don't know. If you go 2 drop, 3 drop, and then this, like, you can't lose, right?
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, like, there's a whole bunch of upside, but I want to sort of temper expectations a little bit, because there are going to be times when you draw this and it's just going to do very much because you haven't got the board set up.
Nah, screw that. This card's sick. Play it. This card's awesome.
It's Open into Wonder. Open into Wonder is an uncommon. It doesn't have the discard a card, but everything else it has.
Yeah.
And that was a fine uncommon in blue, but this is 2 colors.
But this is green and black.
That makes all the difference.
It
2
does,
colours.
because blue has a bunch of small creatures, like green has a bunch of big guys, and giving them menace and trample is so much different to blue.
That's reasonable.
This won't just be a card advantage engine, and it will be. It will also just end games.
Yeah, making everything hard to block and giving them trample is gonna swing games, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very powerful, but don't go crazy, is all I'm saying.
So crazy, this card's awesome.
Alright. So, we're going to move on to artifacts now. So, our first one is our Abandoned Sarcophagus. This is 3 mana for an artifact with you may cast non-land cards with cycling from your graveyard. If a card with cycling would put into your graveyard from anywhere and it wasn't cycled, you exile it. So that second line is just basically you're not allowed to keep playing things out of your graveyard with cycling. If they die, they go away. But you can cycle something and then play it, which I think is awesome. This is a really sweet card.
Yeah, this card's sick. This is the cycling build-around we wanted. It's still alive. This card's awesome.
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of pretty good cycling cards, and the fact that you can just play them from your graveyard is really awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if you're just playing, you just always cycle your guys and then play them. I mean, it just turns your guys into costing a little bit more, but you draw a card off them every time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This card's bonkers.
Yeah, so I think certainly if I'm opening this card up, I'm picking it and I'm making cycling happen, because the cycling cards don't have that many payoffs anymore. This is one of them. So they're going to come around. Yep.
And now I will be willing to cycle my cast out because I've got this.
Because we can cycle cast out and then cast it. So yeah, good stuff. Awesome. Yeah. So Abandoned Sarcophagus, really cool card.
Yep.
The Crook of Condemnation.
So 2 mana for an artifact. It has the ability 1 and tap, exile target card from a graveyard, or 1 and exile Crook of Condemnation to exile all cards from all graveyards. So this reminds me of something.
Yes, so what that reads is 1 tap, make red a little bit sad, and 1 exile Crook of Condemnation, make red really sad. And for those who don't know, Red is a local player at our shop who loves playing basically a dredge deck, functionally a dredge deck, where he just pitches prized amalgams and then gets them back. So he's got the discard graveyard shenanigans. And I have been looking for a way to beat that deck for months. Finally, this is a way to beat that deck at FNM, so I'm really happy to see this.
Yeah, you're just jamming 4 in the sideboard, aren't you?
Yep, straight away.
And to full disclosure, it's standard that he's playing the dredge deck in. He's not a horrible human being, so yeah.
Well, so this is kind of Relic of Progenitus. It's not as good as Relic, so it's not going to overtake that card in any other formats. It's a standard version of Relic of Progenitus. It doesn't replace itself. It's more targeted though, which is nice. That means you can just your opponent can't play around it as easily because you're getting rid of the cards that matter out of their graveyard. Yeah, sweet little scalpel. Obviously, don't go anywhere near this in limited unless your opponent is really graveyard heavy, dedicated. Because it doesn't.
This does get those gods once you've killed them, so you might have to bring it in.
Oh sure, yeah. This is sideboard. Yeah. Definitely not worth anything in the main deck.
Yeah, no.
All right, the Dagger of the Worthy. This is 2 mana for an equipment. It's a 2-cost equip, and the target creature gets +2/+0 and has Afflict 1. This looks pretty good.
Giddy on up. Yeah, this card's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I used to really undervalue equipment, small equipment that gave little buffs, and I've started to come around to playing them a bit more frequently because it just makes all of your creatures a little bit better.
Yeah, the 1/1 that we spoke about in the last thing, we said that we wouldn't play it and that it would be good. And actually, you said it would be good and that you'd play it. And it ended up being good, and we should have played it.
Yeah. And I mean, there are some little unblockable creatures. There are some hard to block creatures. So putting a dagger on them, you can suit up some of the little flying dudes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even worse to block them now because the creature's gonna die and they're gonna take a little bit of damage as well.
Yeah. So I think this is worth picking up. And yeah, don't skimp on it. I don't know if it's like really early, but 4th, 5th, around that sort of area, I'd be willing to take one of these.
Yeah, I mean, more aggressive decks, I think. You don't want them in your control decks, but in most decks, I'm probably okay to run it.
Yeah, cool card. Also of note, Afflict does stack additively, so if you have multiple instances of Afflict, it will work. So if a creature already has Afflict, you get double it, sort of thing.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
So here it is, the God Pharaoh's Gift. At the end of the last set review, we were waiting to find out what is the God Pharaoh's Gift. So, what is it?
Oh, you waiting for me?
Yes.
7 mana artifacts.
Throw to my co-star.
7 mana artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. It gains haste until end of turn. Huh. So what is it? Eternalizes your guy from your graveyard. Mm-hmm. And you keep it around, right?
Yeah, so at first I thought this was kind of like a seance effect. But no, it sticks around, which is really good.
That's pretty sick for 7 mana.
So now I was looking up previously the Gate to the Afterlife. I need to double check. Do you remember how much that cost?
I think it costs 3, and it's 1. You sack it for 1 and tap, I think.
That sounds about right. So, without Gate to the Afterlife, would you put this in your deck, this 7 mana artifact?
Probably.
Yeah, you reckon?
Definitely in sealed. Maybe not in maybe half of my draft decks.
And being a colorless artifact, it can go in any deck. Does it go in any deck?
Probably not the red white aggressive decks like your low to the ground decks. Probably not. Um, just because I don't want to get up to that much mana. But everything else, your mid range and your control decks, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so I have found with Gate to the Afterlife, I think this gets a lot better because I just found it there. It's 3 mana up front, 2 mana to search and put this into play.
Into play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's sick.
So go and put it onto the battlefield. So that's pretty crazy, right? Like that just it eternalizes a guy out of your graveyard most of the time.
Yeah, it feels like you should sacrifice the creature at end of turn, but you don't have to.
Yeah, yeah. So awesome card. I think I'm willing to first pick this if it's there. Other than like premium removal, I'd probably take this card and hope to get there, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this card's great.
Because Gate to the Afterlife is a stone dead last pick. So if there is any in the draft, you're going to get
it. Yeah. And you probably wheel it as well, so that's fine.
Alright, so cool card, and glad that we waited for it, because it looks really interesting.
Yeah, finally the payoff is like a bomb, so that's sweet.
Alright, awesome. I'm wondering even if there might be a standard deck built around this, because if you can have 4 copies of Gate to the Afterlife, and some kind of self-mill with Vessel of Nascency and that sort of thing, Grapple with the Past, that this might actually get there in standard.
Yeah, maybe. The gate, does that sacrifice when you get this?
Yes.
Okay. So you can't loot after the fact?
No, you would have to get another one. But you can play 4 copies and 2 copies of God Pharaoh's Gift pretty easily.
Yep. So I'm thinking gate on turn 3, and it's 1... Is it 1 to use the ability? Do you sacrifice a creature, or do you just...
2 tap, sacrifice the gate.
Okay, and what's the second ability? It's when a creature dies, yeah?
When a non-token creature you control dies, gain 1 life. Then you may draw a card, and if you do, discard. So you gain 1 life and loot whenever a creature dies.
Okay, yeah, that's not great, but
you can cheat Eldrazi into play.
4/4 Eldrazi.
Yeah, but Ulamog still has all of his text. He's still indestructible and mills them for 20.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to bring something back,
win the game.
Yeah. You know, you're right. Yeah, I can see it.
I think it could be interesting if there are some cool creatures. I don't know. I haven't actually looked into it too much, but I think that could be at least a fun standard deck around this, if not a good standard deck.
Yeah, I like this card a lot.
Cool. All right. So let's keep it moving. We have a fairly awful common. This is a Grave Abomination. It's 3 mana for a 3/1, and if it attacks, you can exile a card from defending player's graveyard, it's fine if you need that effect, I guess.
Yeah, 3/1s are not great, but if you need a dude, you'll play it.
Yeah. Let's keep it going with the Hollow one.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff about this, but I don't know. Like 5 mana for a 4/4 rare. It costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn, and it has cycling of 2.
So just for limited, you're just like not interested.
I mean, I'll play it, but I won't be excited.
Yeah. Alright, fair enough. For the cycling kind of decks, I could see that happening. And 5 mana 4/4, a colorless 5 mana 4/4, it's fine. If you need some stuff. But this has a lot of fun in Eternal formats.
Yeah.
I'm putting together Living End at the moment, and this just slots right into Living End because it cycles, so you can just chuck it away and then get it back with Living End. Or if your opponent is playing Rest in Peace, you can cycle and play a 4/4 for free. So you're not completely dead to Rest in Peace.
That deck was never really dead to Rest in Peace. You could just end up casting your stuff, yeah?
Somewhat. It's not so much dead to Rest in Peace, but it's really slow. So
yeah.
It's not kind of like some of the dredge decks where you can just win by playing out Bloodgust and stuff like that, because everything costs 5 and 6 mana.
Yeah.
And also a bit older in things like Vintage and that sort of thing, they have Bazaar of Baghdad.
Yeah, play it turn 1.
Which is
0.
You discard 3 cards immediately, and these are free, so you just play 4/4s. And that's bigger than basically anything in that format. Nobody plays 4 power things other than Eldrazi, and even that's pretty limited, so...
Yeah, and this matches up against all of them except the
Reality Smasher.
Reality Smasher, yeah.
So I think this is a really cool card. You should hold on to them if you open them because they could be worth a bit of money. But limited, it's, yeah, whatever.
It's okay. You'll play it, but yeah.
Awesome. So I'm looking forward to those. You should trade them to me. I'll give you a good price.
Okay.
Alright. Manolith is back.
This is a good card. 3 mana for an artifact, and simple tap and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Yeah.
Fixing for every color.
Yeah, good card. It's probably the least interesting mana rock going around. It doesn't even have indestructible like Darksteel Ingot. But yeah, it's fine. Are we doing this in our limited format? Do you think? Are we going to be too aggressive?
The aggressive decks don't really want it. The rule of thumb I go by is that I want to have the extra color and the ramp. So I want both of them for me to be playing this.
Right. So I feel like if I'm playing 3 colors, then this just gets in. Like even if I don't have a whole lot of big guys, if I need 3 colors, I need to play stuff like Manolith to get there.
Okay. Okay.
But the ramp is nice anyway.
But I find when I'm playing 3 colors, I've usually got some more expensive spells anyway, so usually that's alright.
It's usually why you're playing 3 colors. It's because you've got some big bomb you need to play.
Yeah.
But this is the common that lets you play all of the gods in all of the decks, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, are you going to play this in 2-color decks? What kind of 2-color decks?
Probably not. Just as a general, unless I want the ramp like a lot.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so this is fine. I think you're going to be able to pick these up. Being a common, if you want them, they're going to be around. Like, you don't have to dedicate early picks to getting the Manolith.
Yeah.
Useful for it when you want it. Alright, the Mirage Mirror is apparently also a really fun card in Eternal formats. This is 3 mana for an artifact, and for 2, it can become a copy of an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land. Like Dark Depths.
Oh my god, they just keep finding ways to break that, don't they?
Yeah. So yeah, 3 mana. It's probably going into those legacy lands decks where you can make Dark Depths. It's probably going into sideboards for those who want to beat Show and Tell, because this is really fun if your opponent casts Show and Tell and puts in Emrakul, and you play this.
Yeah. Yeah, because you get it, and then you get to get them first.
You get to attack first, yeah.
That's so awesome. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, so there can be some fun here. I mean, there are other ways to deal with that sort of stuff, but and I've jumped straight to Eternal because I just don't see this getting into most limited decks.
I don't know. It becomes a copy of the best creature. You have to keep paying for it, but they can't attack with their creature. Their best creature.
Yeah, I mean, the creatures are most likely going to be trading. It is a 3 mana do nothing on the turn that you play it, unless you play it on turn 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't count this one out. I think it might be alright.
Yeah, alright though for a rare is not really what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like it's got a big, powerful hit to it, and that you'll mostly always want to play this card. I just got a feeling.
Fair enough.
Because the creatures keep getting better, and then this just keeps getting better over the course of the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this has a big ceiling, and I think in green decks or if you have your own big creatures that you might want to copy as well, I think this is worth playing. But if you're coming up against aggressive decks, this is going to be something to side out, because it's you're just going to get run over by little dudes.
Yeah, agreed. I think, against aggressive decks, you're just going to not play this card.
Yeah, cool. Alright, so shall we move to our next artifact? Is the Sunset Pyramid. So they're doing something weird with brick counters here.
Oh, cool. So 2 mana for an artifact. It enters the battlefield with 3 brick counters on it, so you already have them there. And then you've got 2 and tap, remove a brick counter from Sunset Pyramid and draw a card. Oh, that's cool. And 2 and a tap, scry 1.
This is really sweet. I mean, it's a bit sad with regards to the flavor text, because it's decades to build this gorgeous pyramid and just hours to destroy. So in
As
the Hour of Devastation, all the things that were built up, the vault, the Oracle's vault, is now being dismantled.
yeah, go Bolas.
But I like this card, and I think it's a relatively early pick. I mean, it's just 2 mana draw a card 3 times.
Yeah, you're paying 2 mana 4 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So 8 mana, draw 3 cards. Oh, but that's
On
spaced out.
installment,
So
yeah. It's
yeah,
slow, granted, it's very slow, and much like the last card, I don't want this against an aggressive deck. I want this in my blue-black control or green-blue ramp type deck to help me draw cards, but man, you're
yeah,
gonna get run over if you try playing this against red-white.
yeah. I think this card's all right. I think I'm in my draft decks. I'm gonna start it in my board and then bring it in against faster decks. Actually, no, it doesn't feel right either. I kind of want to play it. It's just so slow. But it's a 3-for-1. So yeah.
I mean, I don't think this is an auto-include everywhere, but I think that a lot of decks are going to be happy to have this kind of effect.
Yeah.
And that Scry one later in the game is going to be a huge game. Like we've seen the power of Patrick Starfish just scrying regularly is really useful. So.
Yeah, I agree. In long games, I don't think you can really lose with this card on the battlefield.
So yeah, sweet card. Don't let that go too far down the pick order because you won't see it after that.
Yep.
Traveler's Amulet is back. This is a card that finds a land. 1 mana for an artifact, 1 mana to sack it, get a basic land to your hand. Yeah, nice if you want to splash, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay if you want to splash, but there are like other fixes that I want over this.
Yeah, we don't really need to be playing the Traveler's Amulet most of the time.
Yep.
We got a wall.
Wall of the Forgotten Pharaohs. 2 mana for a 0/4 defender, and you can tap, and it deals 1 damage to target player. Activate this ability only if you control a desert or there is a desert in your graveyard. Meh.
Nah. Not even as a control finisher. Not interested.
Yeah, I'll bring this in, like, if I really need to, and it will be sad. No, I don't like it. Don't play it. Afflict just kills this card.
Yeah, Afflict in this set really ruins this as an option. I mean, if there wasn't anything like that going on, if there wasn't a good way to push through damage, then you might be able to use it defensively, but you just can't in this format.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, avoid the wall. Alright, we're on to lands. So, we've got our first land here.
The Tri-land-ish card. Crypt of the Eternals for a land. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. It taps to add Chicken Wing, and you can pay 1 and tap to add blue, black, or red to your mana pool. So you can filter for a Grixis, or one of the Grixis colors, or add 1. So
This is so terrible as an uncommon. Right? Like, this is worse than Unknown Shores, other than you gain 1 life when it enters. It's not even a desert.
Yep, I don't think it's very good, but there are so many good gold cards in those colors that you might just end up playing it.
I mean, are you playing this if you're 2 of those colors? If you're a blue-red or a blue-black deck, are you playing this to help you fix?
For the 3rd color?
No, just 2 colors.
Oh, no way. Why would you do that? No.
So you really have to be... One of those
Splashing.
is a splash color. So you could be like green-red splashing black, or, white-blue splashing red, something like that.
Yeah.
Or you could be all 3. If you're all 3, obviously it's fine. It helps you splash for the 3 colors, but...
And you've got to be desperate for that fixing. If you got nothing else, like Monolith, you've got Traveler's Amulet, I'd play over this. You've really got to be desperate for that 3rd color.
Yeah, no, this is just worse than a basic land so often.
Yep.
I don't like it, and uncommon as well. I just can't see it being good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's uncommon because you don't want to see too many of them in the draft. At common, it would just be too many wasted slots.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's put a pass on the Crypt of Eternals and have a look at some deserts. So we talked a bit about deserts on the way through, and this is a common cycle. So put them all together, they all do basically the same thing. They enter the battlefield tapped, they add one mana of the color, so one whichever color it is, related to the gods, so Fervent for red or Indomitable for green, and they all have cycling for one and a color of that type. And I think they're all good. I think I will play them in any deck that is running those colors.
Yep, I agree. I think they're all good. You'll always play them. And I would use them to splash as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, cycle lands are just really good. The power of being able to throw a land away for a different card when you don't need it has always been very powerful, and I'm really looking forward to having these in common.
Yep. And the effects of the cards that want deserts just means that you're much more willing to play these in your deck. So
yeah. Sure. If you are in that green deserts matter sort of thing, you've got a few deserts matter cards. Are you playing off-color ones? I guess is one consideration that may come up.
Depends how many deserts I think I need. If I had that rare that needed 3 or more deserts, yeah, I would.
Yep.
If I didn't, I think I would just. It depends how many I need. Like I'd play a second one and it be off color, but probably not a third.
Sure. So you're certainly got to be careful, and there's going to be a lot of considerations with regards to your mana intensity, your mana requirements. But it's not unrealistic to think of playing a white desert, one white desert in your sort of green-red deck or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So let's have a look at another desert. Dunes of the Dead. This one adds a colorless, and if it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token.
Okay, so this is going to be a big focus on the cycle that we're about to see. Yeah, I really want to know what that cycle is before I'm playing this card.
Fair enough. On the face of this, I don't think this card is particularly good. So unless you have specifically a card that says sacrifice a desert to do something cool, I don't want to touch this card at all.
Yeah, and even then, the risk of hurting your mana base is pretty high, so it'd have to be really, really good.
Yeah. So Dunes of the Dead, we'll put it on in the back of our minds to remember, but I don't think we're going to be playing it very much.
No.
We got some Endless Sands.
Okay, so this adds a colorless to your mana pool. You can pay 2 and tap to exile target creature you control, and 4 and tap, sacrifice it, and return each creature card exiled with Endless Sands to the battlefield under its owner's control. So you're kind of using this to exile your guy to save it from removal, and then you can just bring them all back later in the game once you've got some extra mana.
Yeah, I mean this is a functional kind of reprint, somewhat of Safe Haven. Safe Haven was an old card that had a similar text. It had the first sort of components of it. It didn't have the tap for mana, so this is a little bit better because it does tap for 1 when you don't need to be saving stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm too worried about putting this in my deck, because if my creatures need to go away because they're dying to a lot of removal or dying in combat, then this is not really going to help a lot.
Yeah, no. Against a deck with a lot of removal, I might bring it in, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. But yeah, not an early pick by any means. I think this is not a card I want in my deck regularly.
No, it's going to start out for me.
Yeah, but again, it has that desert subtype, so keep it in mind if you really need deserts.
Yep.
And this might be a reason that you want deserts. So this is the first of our uncommon cycle of deserts. Each of them, again, have similar text. They add 1 regular mana to their mana pool. You can pay 1 life to add a color. In this case, it's green for the Hash Sheep Oasis. And it has an activated ability. So you can pay 1 green, tap and sacrifice a desert, this one or another one. And target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Unfortunately, that is activate only as a sorcery.
You couldn't have this as an instant. You just couldn't.
It'd be pretty good. It's an on-board giant growth.
Yeah, but they can just never block.
True.
Yeah, this card's really good. Sometimes an on-board, pre-combat +3/+3 is all you need. Yeah, this card's good. I'll probably always play this in my green decks.
Yeah, for sure. And this is...
Yep.
So I guess there's all of these. I think go into their coloured decks, except maybe the blue one, which we'll come to soon. But I guess the big question of these is: are you putting in deserts to get this effect? So they'll all go into their own colours, but do you put in other deserts so that you can do this more?
Like the colorless ones.
Like the colourless ones or the off-colour cycling ones, that sort of thing.
Yeah, probably not for this one.
Not for this one?
No, but I would play this one.
Sure. I think the green has the most chance to splash and most colour fixing, so I feel like I'm more likely to put other deserts in to support this for that reason. But the ability isn't that big that I have to play extra deserts.
I would. I think you're right. There's a higher chance that I play deserts with the green ones, but I'm not putting it in for this ability.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in for the fixing.
Alright, so the next desert we have is a hostile desert.
Cool. So this is a rare land. It taps to add 1 to your mana pool, and you can pay 2 and exile a land card from your graveyard. And hostile desert becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a land. This is weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough ways to discard cards, I think, across the board, where you can just discard any land. It may not be other cycling deserts. And just an easy 3/4 later in the game, 2 mana. And it stays there. It doesn't do it. Oh, wait. Reread it. Until end of turn.
Yeah.
Never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. In limited, it goes down for me a bit. I really need to find ways to get cards into lands into my graveyard. It's not a normal thing for limited, so this kind of goes down for me. But if I've got a bunch of the cycle lands,
yeah,
I don't know how many times are you doing that really.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
know.
backflip a little bit. I thought it was a Stalking Stones, which was becomes a creature. Period. But until end of turn, yeah, that's a lot harder to manage to do more than once. So.
All right, next.
Yeah. The black one.
This one's sick. If near Deadlands, it's got the normal ability, so tap it to add 1, or tap it and pay a life to add black. And this one's got 2 black, and sacrifice a desert and tap it. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature and opponent controls, and only as a sorcery. This is just straight up removal. This card's sick.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, you would probably pay 4 mana to put 2 counters on something as kind of bad removal. It's not very good removal, but the fact that it's also a land, so it can just be mana until you need it, it is really good. So yeah, high pick I think for this one, and it's
definitely
not a bad reason to be in black.
For sure, yeah. This card's really good. I'll play extra deserts for this.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. And that if I have one of these, I'm probably going to pick up that uncommon that makes a 2/2 zombie and play that one.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so this is the Deadlands. Let's have a look at the Ipnu Rivulet, whatever that is. It doesn't really matter because this is a bad island. So it does the things, and it sacrifices a desert to mill for 4.
Yeah, next. You're not playing this card. You're playing it to sacrifice the other deserts.
Yeah. But this is the Ramanup Ruins. Ramanup. Do. It deals 2 damage. Do.
To
Taps
each
for red.
opponent.
Play it in your decks.
Yeah, you play it in your red decks. This is fine. Punches at the end of the game. Yeah, you just always play it.
It's kind of an awkward mountain for a while, and then at some point your opponent has to constantly look at it and take their 2 off their life total. So can they deal that damage plus 2, because this is always going to be there to finish them off if they get down too low.
Yep.
We got some Scavenger Grounds. So this is another neat little way to stop those graveyard shenanigans in Standard. It's a colorless for tapping it, and you tap and sacrifice a desert to exile all cards from all graveyards.
Nah, not playing this.
Yeah, don't care about this in limited. Again, I think this is another standard plant. It's a colorless way for anyone to deal with graveyards.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan, and I'm getting concerned by the number of rare lands that I don't want to play.
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot of fun when we open up these rare lands.
Yeah.
What can you do? The white one.
Okay, so we know the adding mana bit. Shifet Dunes, 2 white, tap and sacrifice a desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, and activate anytime you cast a sorcery. This is good. You're always going to play this in your white decks again. This has a really good onboard effect, and your opponent's got to be scared of it.
Yeah, this is a really important one. It's got that. It's on board again, which is kind of annoying, but you don't really need to get multiple activations out of this to make it really good. So
yeah, it doesn't have to be on board. You can do it the turn you play it.
True. You can just drop this down and sneak it in a little bit. Pay attention to your opponent's lands, because this is something that's easy to forget about if they play it early in the game.
Yeah, and don't be one of those people that hides your lands. Like, I'm not saying you have to go out and just show it and like, here it is, but don't go out of your way to hide it so you can eke some value out of it. That's just bad form.
Yeah, don't be a jerk about it. I mean, when you play it, say the name of the card, and then just carry on. But don't just like play a land, go quickly.
Yeah, and then don't stack
right
your
thing.
lands on top of it so it looks like it's just a plains or something. It just creates feel bad moments. I'm not saying you're trying to cheat or anything, but it just creates bad moments, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it at pre-release or anything like that. So just
yeah,
good time. Anyway, Chevet Dunes. The next one is the Survivor's Encampment.
Okay, a common, good.
Yeah, this is a common. This is a desert. You can tap it for 1, or you can tap an untapped creature you control to make a color of any mana. So it turns kind of any creature into a Birds of Paradise kind of thing. Help you fix. And
yeah, I
don't like it in 2-color decks. No way. In 3-color decks, if you really need fixing, like if you don't have other kinds of fixing, but you really need to play 3 colors, then this is an option.
Yeah, but you're sad about it.
Yeah,
find a different option. Yeah.
All right. So after the Survivor's Encampment is nothing. That's it. That's all of them.
Awesome. We did it. We made it through.
Yes, we've got through. That was a longer one, but it has some amazing multicolored cards. So these are the cards that really get me psyched to play limited, to play draft, because there are some awesome uncommons.
Yeah, and some of the rares and mythics are making me want to play standard, so this is going to be a lot of fun. This set is really stacked. Really happy with it.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing you all at your pre-releases and on draft nights. Thanks for watching our Armenket set review. Thanks to Anthony for getting through with me.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. It's been fun.
Outstanding. And we'll see you for the next set out in Ixalan.
Yeah, see you then.